about the Messi thing?
Anything else on the Messi front, Chris, before we move on?
No, I'm done. I'm
falling out. I told you, I never want to bring this guy's name up again.
I don't know, man. This Messi thing is just a freaking mess. What a disaster.
I don't want to hear this name ever again until it's official. But they got me back.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
Chris, the Herons are back. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 82 of the Battered Herons podcast. I am your host, Daniel Granada, and alongside me, as always, is Mr. KBD. How are you doing, sir?
Well, the question was asked, right? Richard Greenberg chimes in. Is my internet working tonight? Yes, it is. No thanks to you, AT&T. You guys suck. And yes, Joe, I was going to go. No, I stayed with AT&T, but you're right, Joe. Listen, I was going to hold the next door neighbors hostage, at least until I could be able to use the Wi-Fi. So, but didn't have to come down to that.
All right. So, we last spoke on, when was it the game? Sunday night? I already forgot. Yeah, it was Sunday night.
Sunday night.
That midnight episode that we did with Joe Shaw. Awesome episode. We talked a lot about the game, and we were excited. We didn't know who we were going to play on Friday, but we now know it's going to be against Charlotte FC, and we're going to get into that. We have a guest from Charlotte joining us. But I think the biggest talking point, I guess I would say, is the tickets that went on sale. It was yesterday. They randomly went on sale. And no, it wasn't yesterday. Was it Monday?
It was Monday,
Monday. They went on sale Monday.
Monday, 10:30 a.m. on the dot.
No, not 10:30 a.m. 12:30 a.m. on the dot.
Oh, 12:30.
And what happened?
12:30 p.m.
What happened to me is that I was in the process of making lunch for my kids, and I'm there and I'm making lunch. All of a sudden, I get an email that says tickets on sale now. I said, this can't be right. I didn't get an email giving me a heads up as to at what time these tickets were going to go on sale. So I went ahead and I opened that email, and it says, here's your promo season ticket holder discount code. Click on the little link here and go ahead and get your tickets. I clicked on there, and it said 2,000 plus people in the queue in front of you. I didn't get in to actually go ahead and look for tickets for 45 minutes. After 45 minutes, then the search began, and that's when the real fun started, where I got to click tickets and then add to cart, and then it would say, sorry, somebody already got these. Go ahead, click on another pair of tickets. Sorry, somebody already got these. And I was on this mission for 2 hours, Chris. 2 hours until I finally was able to get a pair of tickets that, because of dynamic pricing, ended up shooting up a little bit in price. I ended up paying a lot more than those tickets originally started off at, but I refused to pay a verified reseller. And here I am, upset, but I'm going to the game. What about you, Chris?
Well, I looked up some tickets. Well, my wife looked up some tickets earlier today. She saw a pretty good deal. We passed up on it because just with the amount of taxes and fees that Ticketmaster is just charging is a disaster. And I'm looking at the ticket prices right now. And actually, yesterday I was on the This Is Football podcast with Solana and the guys. Shout out to them. The prices actually came down, and they're $173 for the cheapest price for resellers. And I actually looked at just official tickets from the organization, right? We're talking about the actual organization selling them, not a ticket reseller. And the cheapest ticket right now is actually, they dropped it down. Yesterday was $450. Now it's $190. And it looks like they opened up 107 and 110. Whoa, look at that.
This is a stupid game that they're playing, because now
I
don't know.
Really
should I rush in and get them immediately so I can get the best tickets, or should I hang back and wait until they eventually go back down in price? Like, it's really stupid. And I think what's frustrating me most of all is that I know what they could do because they've done it in the past. Okay. Last year, when Barcelona was coming into town to play against Inter Miami in the summer, that was a hot ticket. But you know what they did for the season ticket holders? They gave us first right of refusal. They offered us our ticket. If you want your ticket, go ahead. This is the price. You can get it or you can pass up on it. And I kept them. I got the tickets. I think you might have also. So
Yeah.
that's what they did last year. They could do that again. Like everybody's blaming Leagues Cup and they're blaming Ticketmaster. Like I don't see what the big deal is. If the issue is that you want to make a certain amount of money on the tickets, you could sell it for that price and leave it up to the season ticket holder if they want to pay that that higher price.
Yeah.
If my ticket costs about $50 a ticket, right? Because my game before Messi, my season tickets came out to about 45, $50 a game.
Yeah.
And then you tell me, okay, I know that's what it is per game usually, but for this game coming up on Friday, it's $150.
Yeah.
Go ahead and let me have the opportunity to get that ticket for $150. You're not losing any money. You're just giving the season ticket holder an opportunity to get it at that price. Regardless, if I buy it for $150 or somebody else buys it for $150, it's going for $150. What's happening now is that somebody else, a bot probably, is buying it for $150 and they're reselling it for $600-$700. And now it's showing up as a red dot because nobody's bought that ticket. I looked on that map. Everybody's passing around the image, and I went back and looked. My tickets are for sale right now, $700. I should have those seats. I would have paid $150, $200 to have my seats. Somebody else probably paid $140, $150. So I think it's complete BS.
Well,
I'm trying
and
not to too much.
And it's not only that, Danny. The problem also is that the last 2 times that they sold tickets, they put it under this generic IMCF code. When the first time for the Cruz Azul game, they gave everyone a very unique code with numbers and letters, which kind of sort of, I guess, eliminated the idea of having bots just attack Ticketmaster and buy up a group of tickets. And I think that way it would have been perfect because then the actual season ticket holders would actually be able to take advantage of being able to get on and buying their tickets. And just so you know, like I said yesterday, the cheapest ticket directly by the organization was $450. Right now, they're $190. That's only because they opened up like the first 20 rows of section 107 and 110. That was not there yesterday.
That pisses me off.
That was
And
not
maybe
there
they do
yesterday.
that. Maybe they do that to fight off bots, but that pisses me off because I was looking very hard to get good seats. I like to have good seats for these games. This is my team, right? I don't root for any other soccer. Like Real Madrid, yes, that's cute. When people talk about European soccer, yeah, I'll talk about Real Madrid. But this is my club. This is the club I care about. This is the club I'll spend money to go support. I was willing to pay a lot of money to go watch them, and if I could be in my seats, I'd be thrilled. But the best thing I could find for a decent price that wasn't a verified seller was row 14, section like 126 or something like that. That's the best I could do.
Well, I mean, look, with the ticket pricing, somebody posted, I think it was Drive Pink. They posted up a video like, "Oh, La Familia, I can't wait to see you Friday." I ended up posting something saying, "You're not getting La Familia. You're gonna get like Los Primos Perdidos. Like those are the people you're gonna get. A bunch of randos that were able to sort of fit the bill in terms of the ticket pricing. That's what you're gonna get because a lot of people that are season ticket holders, they got duped. They got duped big time."
I'm sorry about my camera. When I get a little animated, I start moving the table around. One other
for those of you,
go ahead.
For those of you who did get tickets, I'm super happy for you guys, and I'm still in the march for it to try to get the tickets. But it's really crazy to have to pay that kind of price for a person that's been, I guess, supporting this team, especially before the craze. I mean, I get it. It's inflation. It's everybody's willing to pay the bigger bucks to see Messi. So I get it.
Well, people get annoyed when people, and I'm not a big fan of it either, right? I'm not a big fan of like, oh, I was supporting the team back in 2019 before it even like. So I get that, right? Because it's annoying to hear, but man, I'm gonna say it. I bought season tickets October, 6th or 7th, the first day that tickets went on sale for this club ever. I had my season tickets 2 or 3 minutes in. I've suffered all the way through. So let me go ahead and get first right at these tickets. Now, they're going to keep saying, oh, it's Leagues Cup. It's Ticketmaster. Oh, yeah, we have no... Shut the fuck up. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
You know why it's bullshit? Because last night at midnight, I receive an email. Hey, guess what, guys? Drive Pink Stadium, Honduras versus Guatemala. Guess what? We're going to give you a 4-hour season ticket holder pre-sale. Let me tell you something. That's not MLS. That's not MLS regular season, but they figured out a way to give us a 4-hour pre-sale. Thank you very much. And 13-hour they gave me a 13-hour notification. That's it. At midnight, I got this email, and at 1 in the afternoon, they were going to go on sale. So they gave me 13 hours to prepare, and then they gave me a 4-hour pre-sale. But they couldn't give me 1 minute anticipation for Friday's game. Not 1 minute. I got an email that said 12:30, they go on sale. Guess what time I received the email? 12:30.
That's how it happens. So if any of you guys want to watch Honduras versus Guatemala here in Dry Pink Stadium, you have enough time to get your tickets.
Look, I just get frustrated that they act like it's out of their hands. It's not out of your hands. It's not. So whatever. Sorry for yelling.
Don't be sorry. Fuck you guys. Fucking ticket sellers, ticket master.
Anything else you want to say, or anybody in the chat want to say about the tickets? Because I just had to get that off my chest. I'm very frustrated.
My son is telling you to chill. He's telling you to chill. You know what I'm saying? I get it.
But look,
it gets you worked up.
This is the part that works me up the most. So I paid this money, right, for Friday's game, and I'm not gonna yell anymore. I'm gonna compose myself. But let's say hypothetically, I forgot the Mexican club that's playing against Philly in the next round. But let's say hypothetically they beat Philly. All of a sudden, next Tuesday we have another home game. I don't want to miss that game either. So guess who's dropping another $400 or $500 on horrible seats because Inter Miami can't get their shit together. And let's say hypothetically that they win that game and that somehow Monterrey wins that side of the bracket. All of a sudden, we're hosting a final here in Drive Pink Stadium. Do you think for a final, all of a sudden they're going to be like, hey, season ticket holders, guess what? I know we've kind of shitted on you all the way through, but let's give you your first rights to go ahead and accept these tickets. That's not what's going to happen. So I'm going to keep dropping. And this is why they do it, because they know I'm an idiot, and then I'm going to keep paying this money because I'm an idiot. And I'll admit it. I am an idiot, because what I should do is I should protest. And I should say, I'm not going to the games. But like an idiot, I'm still going to keep going to the games. I'm going to pay this ridiculous prices for the tickets. And not only am I paying these ridiculous prices for tickets, but then I'm going to go drive an hour to the stadium and pay $50 for parking. Here's $50. Thank you for letting me park in this dirt lot.
Let me get a $12 beer.
It's ridiculous.
If you protest in the front of the stadium, like the only thing that's going to happen are two things. The people that are willing to throw down dimes to get those tickets are just going to pass by you like you're a weirdo. And then not only that, but they're going to be walking by you wearing some cheesy sun hats with, off pink colors and stuff like that.
You're talking about the Messiah
parking lot. Yeah, I'm talking about that. I'm talking about the off pink stuff. Like there's stuff that looks like I just threw bleach on like a red shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Like, so I just think that the club should be more mindful of the people that were here before. And I know, like when it comes to business and money, they don't give a crap about us. I get it. I do. I understand that. But I would hope that they have some care for people that are supporters. And I know that they try to take care of the supporters groups, right? But not everybody that cares about this club, and not everybody that goes to these games since 2020, back when the pandemic started and they had that open practice a couple of days before everything shut down. Not everybody is part of a supporters group.
That's right.
So you have to take care of everybody. So whatever.
Well, we got the schedule. We got the schedule coming up. We still got a big game on Friday, which we're going to be getting to in a little bit. And I did see somebody put up the image of I guess the remainder of the tournament. So obviously everybody knows we got Charlotte coming into town. We're going to be playing them this Friday at 8:30. Apparently, I believe it was Ian Hess that reported 8:39.
Yeah,
so set your clocks.
Yeah, 8 or 9 minutes after the top of the hour. Or I guess in this case, a half hour is what they usually go. They start out.
Look at this guy. $400 seats, $15 jersey. That's about it. So we got that. Go ahead.
I did want to bring up. We're gonna get into Charlotte right now. I did want to bring up the schedule coming up though. it's been tight, right? Because the first two games, the Cruz Azul and Atlanta, it was like a week apart or so. But
Yeah.
games are going to come fast and furious now. And not only are they coming like a lot sooner, but
Yeah.
the importance of the games is a lot higher also.
For
So
sure.
it's very interesting because, like I said, and we've been saying, they're building this roster as they go, and they're building this chemistry as they go. So we have a game on August 11th, right? So that's Friday. If hypothetically, let's say we beat Charlotte on August 11th, we're either traveling to Philadelphia or we have, again, Chris, if you could find the name for me, I keep forgetting this Mexican team's name. They travel to Miami, but regardless, it's going to be on August 15th, which would be Tuesday. So we have a game on Friday and then Tuesday if we beat Charlotte. And let's say we go ahead and we go, well, actually, if we beat Charlotte, we have a game on August 11th and on August 19th because all of a sudden you are locked into either playing in the final. Why is my camera shaking so much? I'm sorry. You're either locked in. Okay, sure.
Querétaro. That's the team that Philadelphia is playing against.
And I'm seeing a thumbs up from the back room, so I think that you said it correctly.
Yeah, so, Querétaro. I think so.
August 11th, Charlotte. August 15th, either Philly or Querétaro. August 19th, either the final or the third place game. So in a span of 8 days, you have 3 very important games. That August 19th game for third place is important because although it's a third place game, the winner of that game makes it to the Champions Cup, which is what the goal is, right? You want to be in international games next year. So that makes that game very important. So you have those 3 games really tight to each other in that span 8 days. And then 4 days after that, we travel to Cincinnati to play in the semifinals of the Open Cup. So in a span of 12 days, we have 4 games, all very important games, if we beat Charlotte. And then 3 days after the Cincinnati game, we played the Red Bulls on our first regular season game back, which would be Messi's, I guess, MLS debut. So we have, in a span of 2 weeks, 5 games, possible 5 games if we beat Charlotte. I love it, but Messi is, I mean, he's looked solid for 90 minutes the last 2 games, but I don't know, 5 games in 2 weeks, that's a lot. Busquets, Jordi Alba, all new. Diego Gomez still getting adjusted, obviously, from what we saw last game. Like, this is going to be a tall task for this team that is just now coming together. What do you think about this upcoming schedule?
Well, I mean, we see Messi playing, and you could see that he's just like walking on the field when the team doesn't have the ball, right? He's playing zero defense, absolutely none. He's not trying to recover balls. He's just walking around. So him, I don't think that there's going to be any sort of deal with him. I think with Busquets, he might be seeing less minutes, just on a per game basis for this next coming few games. I think Gomez, once he starts to gel in a little bit, he's going to be a dog out there. I'm not a big fan of how he played. I actually think that Ben Krem should get the starting role over him, but I guess we'll dive into that in a little bit. And Jordi Alba looks like he's just dying, chomping at the bit to play as many minutes as possible. So, I mean, look, the guys are going to get tired, and there's going to be a couple guys getting a couple dings here and there. But the only guy that I'm really worried about out of the big heads maybe would be Busquets. But that's just because of the amount of times that he has the ball and the amount of times that he has to have defenders and try to I guess do moves and stuff to get around them. So.
I got to stop touching this table. I don't know why it's shaking so much today. 2 things real quick before we get into our guest. First, Sergio Busquets hasn't looked as impressive as he did in the Cruz Azul and even the Atlanta game since those 2 games. They're paying a lot more attention to Busquets. They're not giving him the freedom to go ahead and just eat up that midfield. So I think that's going to take some adjusting. And Diego Gomez, everybody, if you talk to just about anybody, let's say Messi would have showed up in January, right? And he would have started the season in March or February. I'm sorry, late February. Or any player from Europe were to come here, South America. Everybody says MLS takes some adjusting period, right? It takes an adjustment period. But I think because Messi and Busquets started off so hot, everybody saw Diego Gomez and they're like, oh, next Pizarro, right? That's what Mike V said in the comments. Next Pizarro. Oh, give Diego Gomez a second to adjust also. I'm not saying he should start over Ben Krem. Right, I thought that was way too quick of a hasty move to go ahead and start over at Ben Krem. But I think that you should give him some room to kind of get adjusted. The kid is only 20 years old. Like, give him a second. He's gonna get it. If Tata believed in him, I think that he'll be okay.
Listen,
All
I
right.
told you guys I didn't find a FIFA card for him, so it is what it is. We got a non-FIFA card ass player, so there you go.
All right. And for those of you asking about Facundo Farias' debut, my understanding is he has been put on the roster. So has Thomas Aviles, but they will not be available by Friday, but maybe by Tuesday if they do beat Charlotte on Friday. So that's good to hear. Hopefully, we'll see when their visa comes through. So speaking of Charlotte, the August 20th game ended up getting moved. That was supposed to be our opponent on August 20th, but because we're playing them on Friday, whichever team wins from that game is automatically going to play on Tuesday and then the following Saturday. So that game automatically gets rescheduled. What sucks about that is that we had 6 home games left this year, right? When the regular season comes back.
Yeah.
4 of those were Saturday games, 2 were weekday games. One of those Saturday games was against Charlotte. That was actually a Sunday game, actually.
And now we're about to get duped again.
Right. Now they're going to reschedule that game, and it's probably going to be a weekday game. So now we have 3 weekend games with Messi and 3 weekday games with Messi left in this season. So that's really disappointing. But we still have 6 home games. And I think that's it. I think we touched on everything we want to touch on before we dive into Charlotte. Anything else before we dive into Charlotte?
No, man, I'm ready to rock and roll, bro. Let's get it.
All right. So without further ado, I don't want to get the name wrong. All right. So we did find a guest to be kind enough to join us. And I don't want to mess up his name. You got his last name, so I'll let you introduce him.
Well, it's Danny Brams, right? He's coming on to get. Okay. He's coming on. I'm just going with the @ here, right?
Okay.
And you can find. Well, I mean, you can give all your bona fides.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us. He was from Charlotte Soccer Show, right? And he was kind enough to join us. Thank you very much, Danny. How you doing?
I'm doing good, guys. Thank you very much for having me. I'm not only kind enough to join you, I'm honored to join you. You guys are doing a really good show here. I've been
give him applause. Wow, he really likes you. I was ready to hit that boo button. Oh, wow. Okay.
No, it's all love. It's all love from the fans. We're not here to get in any type of ultra situation. No FC Dallas fans trying to start any rumbles with any Messi fans or anything after the game. So
I think that was Messi fans on Messi fans.
Yeah, well, hey, there you go. There might be some Inter Miami fans versus Messi fans dynamics going on in y'all's fan base. From what
a little bit.
There is.
My huge apologies that I'm using a backup webcam here, so I'm a little bit blurry. You guys look absolutely beautiful, and I look kind of like space.
I'll tell you,
ghost here, but
all good.
I'm doing my best.
I'll tell you what's happening right now. Steady. I'll tell you something right now, Brams. Is Steve Munoz, Don Cafecito, saying you got to clean the camera. I don't think that you got to clean it. You look like Jesus right now.
I know. It's something's wrong with the light, or
if I were you, I would never touch I would never touch the camera anyway. So, but yeah, like
about
Danny
my
said,
words. It's about my words, right?
Exactly. So, like Danny said, thank you so much for joining us and taking the time to talk a little bit about the match coming up, which, I mean, that's insane. We're going to essentially have 2 matches within possibly the month to be able to kind of go over, right?
Yeah. Well, they say it's tough to beat a team 3 times, right? We got 3 matches to get into now, so it's going to be kind of like a little mini series. I'll tell you what, I will gladly take 2 L's in the regular season to win this quarterfinal on Friday, because this is like my whole. I don't speak for every single Charlotte fan, but I am a very passionate Charlotte fan, and we do have a great community based around the Charlotte Soccer Show. You can see the @ down there, @ For the Crown Baby. If you're looking for Charlotte coverage, that's the place to go. And we have tons of audience on our show that just loves to get together and party for matches. And I don't know. Most of us are huge fans of the Cup, especially me and my co-host John. Like, we love Cup runs, and getting into MLS playoffs is very important. I think that is our team's real priority if you ask the business side of the team. But from my fan perspective, this quarterfinal is like the biggest match in club history. You know, it was a short history, 2 years, but like everything's riding on this just to like get to those semis and like have a 3 and 4 shot at the CONCACAF Champions Cup, which you mentioned, Danny. And like I would really like just like I would trade a lot. We've already suffered a lot as Charlotte fans, a lot of heartache. I would take a lot more heartache in advance just to get this win. I would sell my soul to the devil for this win. I got to admit. Wow. Even though someone in the comments said I look like an angel, which I appreciate.
My question is, what did you sell to get those 2 cheap goals last game? Because that was insane what happened between minutes 79 and 81 over there in Houston.
Well, Steve Clark's always going to make the big mistake, right? We don't.
That was
sweat
a huge
Steve Clark.
mistake.
Yeah. It was a huge mistake, but I take umbrage at the characterization that it was just a mistake because Patty Ajimong, he's like our backup striker right now. He's like the young draft. They drafted him in the MLS Super Draft.
That was a heads-up play.
They traded up to get him, and he's a total stud. And he's huge, but also nimble and very cool, very like fun player to watch. So he made some nice moves. I mean, he forced the goalkeeper to make the mistake, is what I'd say, and then finished with control with the off foot. You know, like hit that thing straight in the middle. You've seen guys make that move and then like shoot it wildly off to the side, or they can't get the composure to get the ball on frame even after beating the keeper, especially with their off foot. So love Patty Ajimong. The second goal was obviously they were so shell shocked, like. Big Pat is like dominant and intimidating and scary. And like once he scored once on him, they're like, okay, we can't let this happen again. We gotta back pass this thing into our own goal before he scores on us again. So that win.
Yeah.
I see some comments that say the Dynamo own goal is one of the wackiest things I've seen. This happens. People want to say MLS. Kieran Trippier has done this multiple times. Again, for Chelsea, Kieran Trippier has scored goals for Chelsea on back passes as a member of Newcastle United and as a member of Spurs. So it happens in the big time leagues too, y'all. So don't give me MLS nonsense on this. We're just lucky, and we've had a lot of bad luck as Charlotte fans. So
we fight MLS. We fight MLS nonsense on here all the time. Also, don't worry about it. We're not European snobs.
Well, and the hardest thing about it is. The hardest thing about it is that we have a lot of new people coming in and trying to understand what's happening here with the MLS versus all these other leagues that are completely different. So, like, for example, we have a newer fan here, Rashid. He's asking if Charlotte is a good team. And, I mean, I would categorize it as they're better than us right now in the standings, for sure.
Well, let's get into
better
that.
than pre-Messi Miami for sure.
Yeah. Yes, for sure.
For sure. Everybody was, I think, just about literally, right? Except for the Galaxy.
It was all Gary Neville's fault, or right? It was all Phil Neville's fault.
Phil Neville.
Don't
get Chris started. All right,
I'll go grab my shirt right now.
Yeah, I know. So I guess let's get into the Charlotte talk. Charlotte, fairly new team. For those of you that don't know, Charlotte, fairly new team, right? Started in 2021, was it? Or 2022? Oh, yeah, last year, 2022. Yeah, last year.
Supposed to start in 21, but then COVID pandemic delayed it a year. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So 2022. And the fan support was outrageous year one. Mm-hmm. Outrageous. And I felt like almost like you guys overachieved year one. Now,
I would say that's mostly true in everything but the on-field product, because the stated goal of the club, like in year one, was to host a playoff match. Like that was what all the front office said before the season started, and we didn't do that. But everything else was good and overachieving, yes, in terms of support and building a culture and everything.
That was wild. And this year, how have you guys felt about the team on the pitch, more or less? Do you feel like they've overachieved or underachieved? Because they're outside looking in as far as the playoffs go, I believe, correct?
Yeah, I would have to say underachieved at this point. There was a run of, if I can count them up, it's like 1, 2. There was a run of 5 straight draws, I think, at one point. And one of those was one where we scored in the 90th to earn a draw, and that was great. But then a couple other ones were ones where we gave the points away. I believe we lead the league in most points surrendered from winning positions, or at least we did as of a few recent weeks ago, if it's not currently true anymore. So in that respect, I would say underachieved, because again, our goal is playoffs. With the expanded playoffs, it's unacceptable to not make the playoffs. I think almost in MLS at this point, if you can't get top 9, you got real problems in your conference. Like obviously, so like we got to work on that. It'd be great. We are on the outside looking in, and we're in a big cluster of teams. So like it's not like it's a race with one other team to get a final spot. We really need to emerge from a pack, and that run of long draws didn't really help our cause necessarily. Now, having said all that, Leagues Cup, it's a totally different team. The Leagues Cup has sort of like revitalized this team. I think playing every 3 or 4 days is kind of good for this squad. They don't get inside their own heads as much. And when this team plays loose and free, they're dangerous. What I would hope to see tactical-wise or just game plan-wise is just like an open game. But I think FC Dallas, I saw earlier in the comments said like, oh, Charlotte's got to be easier than FC Dallas as far as a matchup, right, for us to have. And I said, well, yeah, you guys were down 4-2 to FC Dallas, and you should have lost that game. So obviously, the Dallas was a tough matchup for y'all. But I would, and then some things happen. We can get into the conspiracies later. But it is probably a matchup that you have.
The way you did those,
yeah.
The way you did those bunny ears looks like you got your aluminum antennas on already.
I know, exactly. Yeah, if I had a tinfoil hat, I would put it on. But just, it's kind of some crazy stuff that happens around this Messi guy. I don't know. Maybe he makes it happen with just his general aura of wizardry. But what I would say is Miami at home against Charlotte with Messi and Busquets and Alba have to be considered favorites in any type of betting situation. Yeah. Charlotte is
on the road. You guys haven't looked very good. You guys have lost. I looked it up earlier. I want to say it was 7 out of your 13 road games this year, or 6 out of your 13 road games this year. So on the road, you guys haven't been necessarily great.
Yeah, it sounds accurate. I don't have that exact number, but we've been better. We were even worse last year on the road, so it feels like an improvement, even if the numbers are still bad. So that's what I would say is like. And again, Leagues Cup, we've been road warriors. We should have hosted the game against Cruz Azul. But because Beyonce is actually taking the stage in like with it probably, if she didn't take the stage maybe 30 minutes ago, it will be within the next 25 minutes at Bank of America Stadium right now in this town. And because it takes a week to set her stage up, we lost a potential home match out of that, which
that's wild.
To hear you guys describe a lot of the ticket fiascos earlier in the episode, I'm like, man, maybe it's good we didn't host any of these crazy Leagues Cup matches so we didn't have to deal with this ticket nonsense. But again, we don't have the Messi factor in our ticket prices. Yeah. But what I do think I want to say, sorry, just to get back to what I was meant to say is we got to play open like Dallas did, which is go at it. We're not going to – there's no chance to win this thing 2-1 or 1-0. 1-0 is like don't even dream about that. So like if we can somehow win like a 3-2 or a 4-4 in penalties, like with Dallas, I think we could do it. We have guys who can put the ball in the back of the net, but we have the worst defense in the league, and we're about to take on the best player in soccer history on his new home stadium. So you tell me.
Well, and that's what I was going to get into. I was going to get into the fact that your defense is by far – no, the only team that's close to you guys is Atlanta. We put up 4 with them. So as far as us offensively, we should feel good going into this game. Now defensively, we're a hot mess, which I'm sure if you watch the Dallas game,
it's got to be a back and forth for us to have a chance to win. I think we'll see.
All right.
It does. It has to literally be a point where the last 5-7 minutes are probably the most critical minutes of the game.
Right.
It has to be
kept don't
close.
Give the refs a reason to call a cheap foul anywhere near the box, even if it wasn't really a foul. Something like that.
Yeah. And you were talking a little bit about the ticket.
Don't give if it's 50-50, it might go our way. So just like you said,
don't
give them a reason.
Don't
give them a reason to make the call.
Don't give them the reason. Against and I'm not saying that happens every time. Against when y'all played Cruz Azul, I think it was, and there was the late foul, the comeback win. Like that was a legit foul. Messi's free kick goal, like that.
I agree.
Yeah, but the one against Dallas was a little soft.
Well, the one against Dallas, I thought. Wait, which one were we talking about against Dallas?
The playoff, the 4-4, the Messi insane free kick, like that.
That was a foul. I think you're thinking about the game before that, which was the Orlando game where they said it was a soft penalty.
Gotcha.
Right,
Okay.
and that was Joseph. And I think that it was a soft penalty. It was.
But
you can't reach out and grab
you
the
can't
guy's
leave
arm.
that to chance.
You can't leave that a chance. Now I think that where they
Yeah.
messed up is that they didn't check the VAR. They should have checked the VAR, and I'll give Orlando fans that. But you just can't leave it up to chance. Go ahead, Chris.
No, and I was just gonna bring up something about the tickets that you were mentioning, Dan Bram, and I'll tell you what I think is with this whole ticket fiasco. I don't know if you saw, because you said luckily we haven't been able to host, that Miami coming in. I don't know if you saw what Dallas had to deal with. Like they put out an announcement and everything to all their supporters where even those guys got done dirty. Like a lot of the supporters for Dallas couldn't even be able to afford their tickets just because of this whole Messi fiasco.
Yeah, I think that's got to be a learning experience for Leagues Cup from year 1 to year 2, because I've I'm loving Leagues Cup, like the soccer every night. We finally have an off night tonight, but the fact that we've been able to watch like 2 or 3 like really intense matches for the last 5 days in a row or so has been great, and I'm loving I love like a World Cup style tournament with clubs and everything is great. But so my suggestion is, if anyone's listening, set all the knockout games in neutral stadiums that are like designated before the tournament starts, and be selling tickets to those games. I know they're going to say, well, then we're not going to sell very many tickets. You'll sell the tickets. These are fun matches people want to go to. And it just it helps people plan better. Like what you guys have gone through, what the Dallas fans have gone through, like this, and what front offices have gone through. As much as I'm going to always side with the fans over the management, like I do have some sympathy for the fact that like they're scrambling. They're not intentionally trying to screw fans necessarily. They're not like, we'll screw the fans.
No.
They may be negligent and like indifferent to true fan concerns, but they're hustling and trying to just make it all work themselves for sure.
And let me just say, I agree with you. I think that what the front office is going through, especially into Miami for the first time, it's a learning curve. So I 100% agree with you. And I'm not going to go off on a tangent again, but just real quick.
Your camera's been holding a lot more steady for this segment, so that's good. Yeah,
I would appreciate it just a little bit more if they would have sent me an email like 10 minutes before, like at 12:20, like, hey, at 12:30, be ready to press that button so that you don't have 56,000 people ahead of you waiting in the queue. And then one more thing, I do know that there are some people that received an email or at least a heads up and were in there waiting 10 minutes before 12:30. So somebody let
the
out
real
the memo.
email list did go out.
Right, so some people did get a heads up, just us peasants didn't. So that I don't appreciate. All right.
I'm sorry. Well, now you got a bunch of Primos Perdidos, man, that are going to be. That's what gave me hope. So, like listening to you guys, I was like, well, if it's just going to be a bunch of corporate fans that don't really love the team, maybe we'll have not quite as violent of an atmosphere. The problem is these clowns.
I don't think you're going to have that
for Messi without even knowing why they're cheering. That's the problem.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. And because of the size of your stadium, they'll open up the top. I think that the pricing won't be as big of an issue for you guys. It's an issue for us because there's only 22,000 seats, and 3,000 of those were just placed in last month. So that's why it's such difficult to get. And for those of you in the chat, I appreciate all the questions. We're gonna get to all of those because there's a bunch of questions coming in for you, Danny. We're gonna ask our questions first, and then we're gonna scavenge through the chat.
I've been going off on tangent here, tangent there. You guys, what kind of business do y'all have here?
And Lucas brought up something that I brought up a little bit earlier. This is probably the most perfect point. Why they didn't just give like a special code. I brought that up a little bit earlier, Lucas. That's the one thing that they're gonna. But like a real special code, not like
like a pre-sale.
Yeah, like a legit numbers and letters code. So
the issue is a pre-sale. We needed a pre-sale for season ticket holders. But again, I don't want to start yelling again. So
let's move on.
So talking about Charlotte Friday night, it is what it is. The people that are going to be there, hopefully it's half empty. Hopefully these resellers have to eat their tickets. So go ahead. We want to know what player for Inter Miami fans or new Messi fans, because we know that there's a bunch of new Messi fans and people that watch this podcast. A lot of them are brand new, so we try to explain things to them. People that aren't familiar with Charlotte, a player for them to look out for that isn't a household name.
So the player that's going to catch the eye the most is Karol Swiderski. He's our designated player. I don't know if he'd be considered a household name at this point. I think MLS like serious MLS fans know him at this point, but maybe not. Definitely not a household
goal scorer.
name. Yeah, he's a goal scorer lately. He creates goals. He runs. He covers more ground in the opponent's half than any one of our other players. Doesn't have the most elite speed necessarily, but just runs and runs and runs. Polish national team player, just played at the World Cup. He's the heir apparent to Lewandowski in theory for his national team. 26 years old, maybe 27, I think. And so he's got like another this year and then next year in MLS. And then he's hoping to probably move on to Europe at that point for like a big money move, to take his career there. So really great player, fun player to watch. My favorite player on the team. I think he's great. He's awesome. There's the other player who's an impact though. The guy who has started to become more visible. Early on in the season, he wasn't really catching the eye, but now he does more and more. And Ashley Westwood, who was our one sort of a free agent signing that we brought in at the start of the year, was out of contract at Burnley. But English Premier League experience. He has a pass. He just has this beautiful way. His passes, like he always knows this perfect way, however long he's trying to go. It's like a golfer. He's like a golfer playing soccer, the way he just like can serve up a ball that kind of goes as far as it needs to go and then drops down. It's really quite profound of a skill to watch. And he's fun to watch as well. And he's on corner kicks now, and he's doing more and more, whereas before he was sort of acclimating to the team and setting things up. He is now the captain of the team, and he's really
your number 8.
Yeah, number 8. Yep.
Okay.
He's
well,
number 8.
I'm just happy that you guys don't have Jordi Reyna anymore, because he scared me. He was a player that scared me for sure.
Yeah, well, so he was electric. He scored like 2 goals in 20 minutes against y'all last year, and then we lost that game 3-2 because our coach took him out pretty early, if I remember correctly. And then we couldn't stop freaking Big Sig, Gonzalo Iguain. Gonzalo smoked a pack of Marlboro Reds at halftime and then came on and dominated us.
Sure.
What can I say?
That was second half of the season, Iguain, because first half of the season, I was absolutely killing this guy on this show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he got motivated. Right. He was like, I'm going to play really good for 6 more weeks and retire. So, yeah. And we bore the brunt of that as Charlotte fans for sure. But Carroll's great. Watch out for him. He can make y'all pay. Like I said, like we have to score goals. So we're going to need goals early and often. Score early, score often is my advice to my club this weekend for sure.
Well, just in case you didn't get the memo, and before you go on, Danny, somebody here wants to mention I guess for us, the player to keep an eye on is some guy that they call La Pulga, which is Messi. So, I mean, there's that guy.
I will probably be keeping an eye on him. Let me float this to you guys. I don't know how much longer you have, but I just want to say, can we trade? So Charlotte's run of like actually getting good and scoring goals and like looking like a cohesive team has coincided with our other designated player, Enzo Copetti from Argentina and missing games. Can we 1-for-1 swap Copetti for Benjamin Kamasi and call it good? Like you guys need a striker, right? Like,
you'll be stabbing everybody in the heart with that one.
Yeah.
No, you know what? Some people might be happy with that because some people are hating on Joseph, and I mean,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You give it an Argentinian striker with Messi. I think that's a trade that works for both teams. I don't know. What can I say?
No, we're happy with Campana. We're good with Campana.
Well, and you mentioned something about Iguain, and I mentioned yesterday on a podcast here in Miami that I wonder how he feels about Messi not being able to play with Messi and retiring right before he came in. And
I think he smokes another pack of Marlboro Reds and doesn't give a fuck. That's probably
just stays right next to the pool.
Nah, he doesn't care. Yeah. He doesn't care because and all the hate that he was getting for Argentina when he cost them a Copa America, I'm sure he's happy not having that pressure because with Messi behind them, there would have been a lot more pressure on him. I'm sure he's happy. He's fine.
Right.
He looks like a Virginia Slims kind of guy.
Yeah. Well, I would love to. Over under how many LBs Gonzalo has put on since the end of last year's Miami playoff run? I don't know.
That is a great question, chat. Please chime in. It's got to be at least 30. Chat, we need a number right now.
You know what? I used to think that he was a really heavy-set guy. And when I started seeing him in person, I was like, why did I think he was bigger than he actually is? He's not as big as I expected. But I always imagined him. Yeah, he's definitely soccer big. All right, so as far as Charlotte goes, as far as tactics go, do you guys press high? Do you guys play a low block? I mean, you guys are horrible on defense. So I'm kind of curious as to what exactly it is that you guys look like when you're on the pitch and what formation your team usually comes out in.
So the formation is like a 4-3-3 really, but it kind of plays like a 4-1 because we play with 1-6, 2 8s, 2 wingers, a striker. So
got it.
It just depends on how you want to shape it. It kind of flows, but it plays out as a 4-3-3 when they put the lineup graphics out. Carroll goes everywhere though. It's not an organized high team press like you would see like Red Bull style. But Carroll will press. Carroll will pester and press and go there. He's this goal scorer who also likes to try to make an impact defensively in the offensive end. So I would say that like you just got to be on top of things. We've scored a couple goals from turnovers this year where we like turned the other team over when they're trying to play it out of the back. So we can pull that off. Defensively, why we're so bad on defense is 2 reasons: is chemistry and cohesion. That we've had like literally over 20 different combos of back fours, if not approaching 30 at this point. I don't know how many games we play. I can't remember. Like for every number of games we've played, if you count the Open Cup and the Leagues Cup, I think we're getting close to 30 games, right? And like I swear we've had 20 plus different backline combos. So there's no real stability in the chemistry there. And then that hurts. And there's just constantly guys getting injured. And then we have center mids that are coming back to fill in as center backs in a couple spots. So I would say that that's really a dangerous recipe when you're going on to face Messi, who's just so creative. And so like the thing about Messi that makes him so good is like, he's so soccer smart in terms of knowing, like figuring out what a defense is doing and how to exploit what they're doing, like, not that he really cares. He's like good enough to just do whatever he wants and succeed. I get it. But like makes him so good is he's easily going. It's not going to take him long. It will take him literally 2 or 3 minutes to see, oh, these guys suck in this specific way. And this is the specific thing that I can do to exploit it. So
for sure.
That's what I'm worried about. Obviously, I really think we need to take a basketball, sort of like a box and one approach, and just assign somebody to just follow Messi around. Velasco did that very effectively for Dallas. So we'll see.
Well, what I think that was effective for Dallas and Orlando is you have somebody shadowing Busquets, because Busquets, we had the weakness to our team, the whole besides the fact that we didn't have a 10, was our midfield was non-existent when Gregory and Mota went down. We had no way to connect the back line to the front. And once Busquets got there for Cruz Azul and Atlanta, it was a thing of beauty.
And Atlanta basically was a romp because they didn't try to defend Busquets at all.
No, at all. But Orlando came out and they had 2 guys shadowing Busquets almost. They were stifling him, and all of a sudden it became very difficult to get the ball up to Messi. And Dallas did the same thing. They have Velasco shadowing Busquets most of the game. So I would expect that most teams are now going to do this. The good thing is that if you guys press us with Carroll or anybody else, we have players that can kind of, they're composed enough where they can work the ball out of that pressure. We have Kamal Miller, which has been playing very well when he gets pressed. We have Jordi Alba out on the left side. If we can get the ball to Busquets, he could find somebody. And Drake Callender, which we love him as a goal stopper, but with the ball at his feet, that was by far his biggest weakness. But he has looked like he has improved. So I am glad that he's improved, because I think that we can handle a high press a little better than if, let's say, we would have played you guys 2-3 months ago. So,
and not only
you can do a lot of things better than you could 2 or 3 months ago into Miami.
This is true. This is true.
No offense, but offense.
And one of the biggest things that you mentioned, though, is that the pressing against our defense is critical, because that's how I've noticed that some of the panic plays happen. And as of late, teams have sort of discovered that if we play someone on Busquets the whole time, then they're going to have a little bit more trouble getting the ball up. Those are the 2 things that I see that's probably the most critical in terms of when players come and put pressure on our defense and on Busquets. That's really where I think your team is going to find the best success.
We have a guy named Brant Bronico who's he's number 13 that you would probably most naturally fall into the hound Busquets role. That's who I would expect to do it. Probably could be wrong there, but he's like the guy who he's been playing more of an 8 recently, and he even scored a goal 2 games ago and had a couple chances last match. But like Bronny Bro, he's the guy that we're going to probably task with trying to cut off that connection to Messi, like you guys talk about. If it's possible, that's the one who's going to have the task.
Does he have a mullet?
He does have a mullet. Yeah. The Bronny Bro mullet.
Wow.
Yeah. He's easy to spot for sure.
We love a good mullet on this show.
Yeah.
Like
he has a mullet, and he's like 2 minutes into the game, he looks like he's played for full 90 already. He's like totally
he's got the Patrick Ewing look going.
Yeah. He's like instantly like drenched in sweat as soon as the game kicks off. It's funny.
All right. So I know we've kind of, I guess, touched on these two things already, but I guess just to get them a little more defined, if you were to say what is Charlotte's strength, like this is what we're good at, and this is where we plan on taking advantage of your team, and this is where we plan on beating you. What is the strength on Charlotte?
I think the strength is the attacking mindedness of the wingers. Our wingers are not necessarily the most skilled per se. Kerwin Vargas is a young, like 20-year-old Colombian player who we got from the Portuguese 2nd division last year, who is really promising and very dynamic and fun to watch, and needs to get a little bit more on the score sheet, but he's a really good player. He's going to probably be our left wing. Right wing would be Kamil Jóźwiak, who's another DP. He's our 3rd DP level player, Polish national teammate of Carol's. They should have good chemistry, right? So like, but he's up and down. He's had some really great moments, and then he had that last game was probably one of his poorest matches that he's played, and he was missed some time for injury. So those two guys, they're not necessarily like household names. They're not like light the league on fire wingers that everyone knows. Oh, watch out for Vargas and Jóźwiak. But they both have the strength of they press the attack. When they get the ball, they are focused on getting to the box or down to the end of the line for a cross. Like these guys want to attack, and I think that's like the best thing that's been unlocked, and it's led to more chances. And even though I think we only had 1 shot on goal last game that we were able to get by within in the shootout, there is more of a creation and like more crosses. Our crossing numbers have got to be up, and our chance creation, and just like that's why Swiderski is able to do more and has become more of a goal scorer, is that the commitment to offense has gotten better. Like I think the club had a little bit of a tendency before this time I'm talking about, where it used to be a lot more focused on this whole system to create like the perfect goal, and now it's like just create chances and hope the goals flow from that.
Well, and I think that's I guess leads into my question. So do you guys play out wide and kind of just whip it in from the corners, or do you guys work up the middle a little more? Like what? Because if you guys play it out wide, we're susceptible to that.
So I would say, I mean, not that I would say balanced. I would really say balanced. It's tough to really say that it's either. I mean, I think our wingers are gonna stay wide for the most part and cross, but I do think what happens is, and so this, if I presume you follow the strength question with the weakness question, it almost kind of flows into the conversation right now, because one of our big weaknesses is the system demands. So our coach comes from the NYCFC system, Christian Latanzio. He's worked with Pep Guardiola, like he's in the City Group, system and all this. He's worked with Patrick Vieira. So like he's committed to this idea of like this, of bringing a fullback up to sort of drift into the midfield, so that like in possession, your back 4 becomes a back 3, your fullback comes up into the midfield and sort of play makes and all this stuff. So he's kind of like committed to this. And the problem is our personnel doesn't really fit that. So he's got like Jalen Lindsay trying to be, Joao Cancelo, and it just doesn't happen that way, and like Harrison Affle is not Joshua Kimmich, like this is not the way it is. Yeah. So it's like, it doesn't necessarily work. So that's leads to our weakness, which is we pinch in our fullback. A lot of times our fullback, we up the field and in the field, kind of inverted, and we just get torched down the wing like every time. The Quinones goal that we gave up, the Corey Baird goal that we gave up to Houston, Quinones assist came from a situation where they're breaking up the middle, and our whole defense, including fullbacks, all collapses on this guy in the middle, wide open winger for
on the wing.
Pass. He crosses back for a tap in, and we've been burned by that goal a few times now. So,
I would assume Jordi Alba is going to eat with that then.
Yeah, exactly. Our biggest weakness is the wide areas, and then on offense, what happens is if we don't take it wide, like I would say it's balanced, because a lot of times we'll be wide, but then many other times we will try to work through the middle. And Karol Swiderski is a really good dribbler and a kind of a footwork guy. So he'll try to beat a man and then work a 1-2 through the middle many times as well. So I think it's side to side in the offense.
But you guys try to keep possession. You guys aren't, playing the low block and just waiting for the counter. Because if that's that, I feel like that is the best way to beat us, because we play so high and we're so aggressive offensively now without that running the show, that our fullbacks get caught out of position all the time. And what we're counting on is our 2 slow center backs and and Dixon Arroyo, which is our center defensive midfield, kind of filling in that middle, and kind of the 2 center backs going out wide and kind of defending that counter. But our defense is way too slow to get back, that's why it was like a foot race constantly against Dallas.
Yeah, every time.
And we get killed by the counter. So I guess my question is, do you guys play the counter often, or is that something that you guys don't
Some
really
of our finest moments have been on the counter. I think if we had Copetti back, I think we would be more likely to do that, because he's sort of like a one-man counter at times if needed to be. The goal we scored against Houston, was almost like a quick counter. It was just a long ball, from the deep right wing, from the right fullback. But I wouldn't say the counter is sort of like a underlying like committed philosophy, but I do think we have Swiderski can get into a counter because he uses those quick 1-2s, like I said. And then I don't know if he's going to be healthy. He's missed the last few games, but we got a guy, Mackenzie Gaines, and I need to get his health status update. I don't know. I don't expect him to be available, but if he were to be available, he's like one of the fastest wingers in the league by far. And he would be very useful in that situation that you described, in terms of if you all feel like you have slow back line, and if Gaines is available, then I would like to see him deployed. But we'll see. We also have brought in kind of some new guys recently, a couple of new center mids, some like veterans from Europe, some small, not really headline news transfers, and we're sort of working them into our system. So even though I love this club, I'm not trying to insult my own team, but we're not the best team just by our results. We do have a lot of competition for spots. We have guys like fighting to get on the pitch, so it's kind of interesting in that way. But I think if we're going to win, it's going to be because Swiderski makes something happen, Westwood makes something happen, and then we get another contribution from one of these guys I mentioned earlier, a Kerwin Vargas, who is like a very awesome, fun to watch player, but who has not really contributed the goals. If he can get a goal, if one of the new signings, a Scott Arfield or a Brecht de Agara that we just got over from the French league, if those guys can get on the score sheet, if Bronico can score again or something like that. So again, if it came to score predictions, I'm gonna predict it, since I predict Charlotte losses sometimes on my own show, but I'm gonna predict Charlotte wins since I'm on you guys' show and I'm on enemy turf here. And I'm going to say we win this thing 3-3. We win on PKs in a 3-3 full time. How about that?
Oh, okay. Nice. Okay. So
we got the predictions going already. All right.
I'm not trying to skip you guys long. I just know how much time I have left.
No. Don't worry about it. We run over all the time.
Good.
Well, and before we get to the full prediction blast here, and I got Mr. Krabs. Mr. Well, yeah, I know, but I'm just letting him know. We're going to get to the question, but while you guys are here, don't worry. It's coming, Danny Brams. And before you guys, before we get to the questions and the predictions, guys, take the time, thumbs it up, like, subscribe, all that YouTube stuffy stuff. Okay? I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing, guys?
Yeah.
Like, you just flopped from YouTube to text somebody. Like, just flop back, press a couple buttons, boom, boom, bam, Uncle Sam. We good to go, baby.
Let's make this the most liked episode ever. Episode 82. Let's put it down in the history books.
Let's do it.
How hard is that?
All right. So
I'm drinking wine on straight from the bottle to make it happen.
Oh, that's the best way to do it, baby.
All right, so we're gonna start looking through the chat to pull up some of these questions because they've been coming. So first, Joe Kurz asked, "How is Charlotte with set pieces and corners?" And the reason he's asking that is because our defense is horrible, but in open play we haven't surrendered as many goals as we have on set pieces. On set pieces is where we get killed more than anything. So how is Charlotte on set pieces?
Charlotte is got really good delivery from Westwood, who I mentioned earlier. He's class, and we need to we need to start attacking these balls better because he's serving up some great corners that we're not getting any end product out of. So I would love to see one. We have some taller guys. I would love to see big Adi Malando, our 24-year-old French center back. Or no, I think he's 22 actually. He might even be 20 to be honest. I'd love to see Adi Malando. He's tall. I'd love to see him just get up and just head one, slam one down right past Drake.
So you're not great though. So that's good for us.
Yeah, just the stats aren't great, but the service is nice. Ashley Westwood is pure class on those sets. We tied Dallas off of a set piece. Like we're in that first match of Leagues Cup, a set piece in like the 90th minute. So
if you're gonna convert on a set piece, it's gonna be against us.
Yeah, good.
For sure. And Hazel's chiming in also. He's wondering how good is the Charlotte goalkeeper?
He's amazing. Christian Kalina, the Croatian wall. He's awesome. He makes saves that just you don't expect goalkeepers to make. He's prone to a little bit of a mistake, I think. There's times where he will allow a goal that you'd be like, man, most goalkeepers would save that, but he would also make saves that just no other goalkeeper can make. I love Kalina. If you saw him in the shootouts, he's been amazing. He's saving all kinds of penalties for the Crown, and we love him. Against Cruz Azul, he was awesome. He did the whole thing where he was like, when the shooter stepped up, I think it was Antuna from Mexican national team player. And Kalina like took his stance and then he like stuck his left arm out, and he's like leaning left. He's like, oh, you're going left, huh? You're going left. And Antuna's like, oh shit. And then he goes left, and Kalina just kind of like falls over and saves it. It was great. So
that was awesome.
He totally psyched him out in the shooter, and then he did it again to the next shooter. So love Kalina playing at the top of his game. One of the most underrated goalkeepers in MLS easily.
Rashid asked, "Is MLS will start after Leagues Cup? It's supposed to start on August 20th for most teams, but for both Inter Miami and Charlotte, because one of the teams will win on Friday, obviously, they'll automatically be playing on next Tuesday and the following Saturday, either for the final or the third place game. So they had to reschedule that game. So for Inter Miami, at least, their next game for regular season will be August 23rd against the Red Bulls." Yeah. Let's see what else we got here, Chris. Anything else?
Well, I mean, everybody loves the bottle drinking wine.
Yeah.
And everybody's liking you. Everybody's liking you so far.
I like you guys. It's a shame that we're gonna have to be the ones to finally put a stain on Messi's unbeaten run here. But this has been a great night.
From an outsider's perspective, did you watch the Miami Dallas game?
Oh yeah, that was a wild, awesome match.
When Messi hit that free kick goal to tie the game at 4-4, was there any doubt in your mind that Miami was going to win the title at that point? Not the game, just the entire tournament. Because once he made that goal, I was like, we're winning this whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, again, I thought that the foul that led to that free kick was rather soft, like the Orlando penalty that we mentioned earlier. And I think it's because he's Messi. It's the Messi factor. I agree. I wouldn't say there was no doubt in my mind, but I definitely thought to myself, they might never lose again. They might win Leagues Cup. They might go win U.S. Open Cup, and they might go into the playoffs. They might somehow make a run into the playoffs here, despite how big of a hole they are in. It almost feels like there's nothing Messi can't do. And I was kind of like I wouldn't say I was like a critic or like a hater or anything, but as a soccer fan, Messi's coming into your league in the United States. You're like, wow, this is incredible. But I wasn't sure how it would go. So I'll admit I'm enjoying if we take club loyalties out of it, as a soccer fan, I'm loving watching Messi play, so more so than I thought that I would even. So that's all fun, but it can't go on this way forever. You guys were very good at breaking down the schedule issues earlier in the episode, coming up with 5 games in like 8-9 days or 10 days or something like that.
Wild.
Charlotte had a similar run like that with Open Cup in May, June, and it takes its toll. I'm not necessarily worried about Messi because, like you said, he doesn't run. He walks out there. But can Busquets hold up? Is Alba really in shape to start doing 90 minutes every 4 or 5 days in these?
Well, runs? I think that's my issue is not so much the proximity of the games, because that's an issue all in itself, but the fact that they're important games, right? Because usually you'd be like, oh,
right,
let him only play 60 minutes this game because we got a game in 3 days. No, these games are must-win games all the way through. So it's not like you can just
they're
squeeze
cut
the rest of
knockouts,
it.
and
So,
you can't give any points in the chase for MLS playoffs for sure. Shout out to my gato, by the way, Crackers. He's attracted some attention in the
There
chat.
we
So
go.
give him some love. Yeah, he always
Danny,
knows when the camera's rolling.
Charlotte supporters, do you know if they're traveling strong down here?
So I don't know. There's been some chatter of I think the club is willing to charter a bus to send some folks down if they get enough people that have committed to buy tickets. I don't know if the club's able to help people out on tickets. You guys talked about the prices being astronomical, $200 minimum to get in at this point, I think, right? If you're going on the market.
Just about with the fees and everything minimum.
Yeah, that's before So I know there was talk on so yesterday morning, Tuesday morning, a lot of people were getting the texts were flying like, oh, I might go. Oh, are you going? I think I could go. I could pull this off, And then the enthusiasm started to die down a little bit as it became like, oh man, these tickets are really expensive. Like, who knows what's going to happen, So I don't know how strong we'll travel. I will say we do tend to travel. We will have at least 30 people there. I don't know if that's impressive or not in this scenario, but who knows? I know we'll have some strong support, and they will be loud. We have a couple folks that always go. We have some celebrity fans in Charlotte FC, even after already 2 years. So if you go to the match, I know you said you were going, Danny, look for a guy who's dressed in full Dia de los Muertos gear and like a blue Dia de los Muertos mask with a big ass sombrero. He's known as Chico El Muerte. He's like our most famous fan, so look for him.
I am 100% sure that your 30 fans will be louder than the supposed ruckus that Orlando brought, which in reality all it ended up being was a stupid Jumanji drum that was just annoying and no ruckus. We felt no ruckus at the stadium from those 100 or whatever people out there. Yeah. So
no roar from the Iron Lion firm. Yeah, I'm not. I actually have some solid friends that are huge Orlando fans, so I'm not going to insult them. But I have no doubt we'll be able to outperform Orlando fans in general. Yeah,
I'm sure they don't watch this. You can insult them; they won't see it.
Yeah. All right, and if they do,
shout out to my boy. The Charlotte fans have shown up in the chat. Shout out to my boy Jorge Torres, who's in here. Yes. I've been watching the chat, side eye. One of the best Charlotte fans there is. And he's in here battling with all y'all. I love it. He's in here repping.
Well,
so the war's being waged on multiple questions already.
I was gonna put up a couple questions, but then I started seeing that he was answering them as I went. I was like, oh, I don't gotta ask it anymore.
Care of it. Yeah.
So I don't know if he asked this one. So do you think Patrick Iguain will start
Big
Friday?
Pat. That's what. Yeah. So Copetti is available. I would not expect him back, but we'll see. Iguain won't start in that 4-3-3 concept. He's sort of a sub at this point. He would come in for Swiderski, or he would come in maybe for a defensive midfielder to play alongside Swiderski if we need a goal late. And he should start soon. I would love to see our team try to find a way to play a 4-4-2 with Big Pat as the main striker / Copetti when he's back, with Carroll sort of playing behind the main striker, sort of off him, making runs. So far, that has yet to materialize. I've been asking for it all year. It hasn't happened, so it's not going to happen. But Big Pat is awesome, and he is going to absolutely own Major League Soccer someday. Maybe not next year, but the year after that.
So Lucho Lau throws in a question, but before he does, I got to get to Joe Kerr's comment. You said only 30 people are going to show up. Only 30 season ticket holders are going to be there for us also. So it's an even battle. So
I like
Lucho
good comment, Joe.
Which Kardashian is coming? Which Kardashian? Are you getting a B-list Kardashian? Is it just Rob comes to the Charlotte match? We don't get Kim for this one, unfortunately.
We just get Rob.
So Lucho Lalo is saying he's asking who's Charlotte's rival in the MLS. And
geographically, they say it's Atlanta. They say, our owners, we have the two richest owners, David Tepper and Arthur Blank. So it's like, but billionaire pissing matches is not really my basis for a strong rivalry. So Charlotte and Atlanta have sort of city rivalries in general, because like every rich business person in Atlanta is having an affair with someone that lives in Charlotte that they cheat on their spouse with. So there's that factors into a lot of it. But I'm just speaking facts here. So my real candidate for a rival is the New Jersey Red Bulls. I fucking hate the New Jersey Red Bulls. So like we play them a few times. in cup matches, and they're cheap. The way they play is just so annoying.
So annoying. So annoying.
Yeah, it's got to go. So we've had some really, really chippy matches with them. So for the on the pitch rivalry in a year and 3/4 of soccer play, give me the Red Bulls as Charlotte's rival for sure.
Yeah, but George says Nashville is one that is brewing. So
a little bit. I would rather be rivals with Nashville than Atlanta for sure, personally. Yeah. But we'll see what happens.
All right. League's Cup final. Is there a set stadium? I keep seeing this question going around and around on Twitter. The team that is in the final that had the better supporter shield standing last year will host, unless Monterrey and again, I forgot the name. Sorry, Chris. Querétaro. Unless they play each other, then I guess they will have maybe a Las Vegas or another stadium that they randomly play at.
Either Houston or Dallas, I would guess, 100%.
Yeah. But if it's an MLS team, it will be held at the MLS team stadium, and if it's two MLS teams, it will be held at whatever team had the better supporter shield record last year. And as far as Miami goes, the only time that they will be hosting would be against the two Mexican teams. Yeah. And I think that's it. That's the only chance we have now at this point. All right. Chris, any other questions before we start wrapping things up?
I didn't find any more football questions, if that's what you're asking me. No.
That is what I was asking. And before you ask your question, because I know it's coming up, Chris. I know it's coming up. My last question. Because I'm very interested. I've been to Bank of America Stadium. Beautiful stadium. I loved it. For those of you that haven't been out to Charlotte, I highly recommend you guys go to the last game of the season. Yeah. Awesome. Me and my wife, we absolutely loved it out there. We spent the day in downtown, then just walked to the stadium, and then we walked back to downtown, and then we caught the flight at nighttime. Awesome experience. If you go to the stadium, when you're walking around the top of the stadium, you look on one side of the stadium and it's beautiful city. You look on the other side and it's just looks like a forest out there. It's so awesome. I really loved it. I highly suggest that you guys do. And my wife constantly tells me how nice the people were over there. She absolutely loved Charlotte. So hats off to you and everybody from Charlotte, because we really liked it out there. We're hoping to make it out there. So, but I did want to ask, are there any rituals or traditions that the Charlotte supporters or Charlotte fans do before the game or during the game? Because I love that kind of stuff.
So our biggest pregame ritual is a dance thing, pre-kickoff ritual. They call it the Poznan, and it's based off of a club called Lech Poznan in Poland. And since our first two DPs were Polish players, our fan base has kind of looked towards Poland for some inspiration. They found this Lech Poznan thing that they do, and it's basically what happens is all the right before kickoff, all the supporters turn around and face the back of the stadium and put arms around each other and then jump up and down. And then the way we do it, we play Pep Us. You know that song, Pep Us? Like,
yeah, it was big in Miami Heat. Yeah. For the Heat, that was like the rallying song this year.
Yeah, exactly. So that plays while we all jump down and go, hey. And then we kick the game off. So it's really fun. And it's something that I was resistant to at first because I was like, this is stupid. I don't want to turn my back to the field. That seems like turning my back on the players, you know. But like but the people that wanted it to happen made it happen, and they just like kept doing it. Like it started off with like maybe a few hundred people would start to do it, and then it became like like a few sections of supporter section would do it. And then it would grow and grow. The whole both levels of supporter sections do it, and now it's growing out to the point where like the whole stadium almost gets it going. So
that's
I think cool. By the middle of next year, it'll be a thing where like the whole stadium probably does the pause, and hopefully pre-kickoff. That'll be fun.
Do you think it'll be the same song next year?
I don't know. Is the guy that does it what Testo or whatever? I forget the artist who does the song. But is he problematic? I'm not sure.
No, it's not Maluma. It's not Maluma.
I have no clue. I assume it'll be the same song.
But it's Farruko, but he like devoted himself to religion. Yeah. Do you know what the song's about?
About like popping pills, taking Molly,
Okay,
right?
yes.
Yeah. That's what I figured.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
But
mean,
yeah,
hey, that's
he
problematic.
devoted himself to religion. He said that he regrets making that song or something. I don't know.
Oh, that would, well, I could see. Unfortunately, it's out there in the world, and it's
an awesome
who's
song.
to say, is it the artist or the audience that is determining the meaning of or value of a work of art? So, I want to respond to Lucas real quick, who says Man City fans claim they started the Poznan law. Not true. They played against Lech Poznan in a European match, and they were so impressed by seeing the Lech Poznan supporters do it that they then did it for their thing. That whole European tournament that they played in, I think that was 8 years ago or 9 years ago, but they did not invent shit. Man City, it did not invent anything. They invented buying your way to the top, and unfortunately, they didn't even invent that. So whatever, move on.
So we got Dan Bram's score, right? And we never talked about our scores, Danny.
You're right. Look, we didn't give our predictions. You're right.
Well, I'll give my prediction before I get into my questions, because I also have something new that I want to show the guys when we get over to the question. I'll start off with my prediction. I think it's going to be 4-2. We're going to win in regular time. And yeah, that's what I think it's going to be, 4-2. What about you?
Yeah. You know what? I also feel really confident about this game, but there's several reasons. One, your defense is really bad. Two, everybody's saying that we're getting calls. I think it's being overblown. But let's say hypothetically we are getting calls. You guys lead the league in yellow cards. You guys aren't very disciplined. You've also given up the second most penalties in the league so far this year. So
that's
if you're gonna give us that's pretty messy. So if you're gonna be playing Messi, and if we're really getting these calls that everybody's saying we're getting, and you give it up to referees' discretion 50-50, I think we might get a penalty kick. You're gonna get some yellow cards. So because of that, I do think that we win. I think it's going to be similar to the Atlanta game is what honestly I'm thinking. I can't imagine a clean sheet just because us keeping a clean sheet is wild to me. But I do think that we will put up some points. I was looking up the stats on Charlotte. Like you said, worst defense in the league. They've given up the most goals. They've also attempted the least amount of shots in the league. And the only team that has less clean sheets than you guys is us. So obviously both defenses aren't very good, but I think that our defense will hold up if you guys can't score on set pieces. And I think we put up 4 goals. Now, how many you guys put up, I don't know. I'd say maybe 1 or 2. So did you say 4-2, Chris?
I said it was going to be 4-2. I really was going to lean towards 4-3, but 4-2 seems comfortable.
I think I'll go 4-2 also, because I do think that we will score, because but the last time we played a really bad defense, we put up 4 goals on Atlanta. So I mean, unless they completely stifle Busquets, I think that it might be along the same lines. Yeah, that's the key. But
so Danny, other than that, though, I mean, come on, right?
Yeah, but that's look, when I saw that you guys lead the league in yellow cards, second in most penalties conceded, I was like, look, if it's true that we're getting favorite like these favoritism for these calls, like that plays right into our hand. Which again, I'm not saying that we are, but if it's true.
And these referees in diapers were watching Messi play soccer, so like,
I know
you put a yellow card team loving versus, along with some the refs that love Messi, forget about it. It's a wrap.
Mr. Miami, I'm assuming you got in here
all
late.
I'll say is there's not much difference between 4-2 and 3-3. It's just 1 goal either way. We just, you know what I'm saying?
This
it's
is
razor's
true.
edge. It's razor's edge.
This is true. This is true. But yeah, man. Look, the way we looked against Atlanta, and the fact that Messi was basically gassed after the 4th goal in the 55th minute, and I think if he would have had more stamina, he probably could have put up more goals on Atlanta. I do think that bodes poorly for you guys. I put up another message here. Sorry for people in the audio, but somebody asked if we got tickets for the game and if we let the club know that it isn't cool. I'm assuming you missed the beginning episode where I had the camera shaking quite a bit. You can go back and watch the beginning. I let them know if they're watching, and I know a couple people watch. I've heard. So
Epic rant. I was inspired.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to drink the wine until I heard that rant. And I was like, okay, now I know what kind of show.
Now it's perfect timing.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
My favorite thing, by the way, early in the episode is you're like, I'm sick of this BS. And so you like censored yourself, and then like 2 minutes you're like, "Fuck this bullshit, man."
yeah, it's amazing.
Look, because I know people that tell me that they watch the kid, that they listen or they watch with their kids. So I've been trying to do my best, but sometimes I can't help it. And real quick, before we keep going, go ahead, Chris.
My own son watches the podcast. I try not to curse, but like I curse all the time around my whole family, so it is what it is.
Chris, real quick before you get into your questions, Robert Taylor. Is he starting on the left wing? And does Diego Gomez start over Kremaki? Those are my 2 questions for you. And Danny, you watched the game on Sunday also. Maybe you have an input on that also. So that's my question to see where you guys, because I know people in the chat are probably curious. And then we'll move on to your questions.
Well, Gomez is not going to get the start over Ben Krem. There's absolutely no way. I don't think so.
I think
Didn't Gomez miss like a point-blank header against Dallas?
He might. I don't remember. He might have. He had a poor game for sure.
Something like that. I don't know. Yeah.
That was his first start though.
And Taylor needs to start. And Lucas, by the way, I do curse on every podcast. I mean, fuck it. Like I said, I still curse because whatever, you know. I try not to, but like I fail 30 seconds into it. So go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask you. So you think Ben Krem starts and Robert Taylor?
Ben Krem starts and Robert Taylor for sure. Yeah,
Robert Taylor starts on the left side because the left side is he wasn't productive last game because him and Jordi Alba just didn't seem to. Well, he didn't know how to work with Jordi Alba. Do you think he starts on the left side?
Because I feel Jordi Alba didn't know how to work with him.
Oh, brother, I think he would work better off on the right side. So
maybe.
Oh,
I liked Robert Taylor better when he was called Jeremy Lin. That guy's nothing. I hope they start Robert Taylor. Trust me, he sucks.
No, Robert Taylor is awesome. Look,
this guy just bang, bang, bang.
We've been writing this.
You have a few games in a row, and then all of a sudden people forget that like you were about to retire and you got booted out of English, rec league football.
Don't listen to Taylor Twillman, man. Taylor Twillman's talking out of his ass when he talks about Taylor Twillman. Robert Taylor.
No, I don't. You don't go worry about
Robert Taylor. We've been calling him Neymar Light on here for about a year now because he was the only player that could do absolutely anything.
He does have good skill with the ball. Yeah, he does have good skill with the ball.
When he has space to work, he can go to work. But with Jordi Alba taking up all that space because
I already regret talking trash on a winger who's going to be running down the flank and start inverted full.
There you go. That's right. That's your weakness. So, all right. So go ahead. I leave it off to you, Chris. Sorry for taking so long with that.
Well, Mike V brings something up here, which I need to get to before the question. Faruko has the same amount of Super Bowl rings as Dan Marino. You are 1,000% correct. Right. And to top that off, I just want everybody to be updated here. As of July 31st, we are officially destroying Dan Marino and his stupid fucking plates.
By 22, not destroying.
Well, fuck Dan Marino, man.
Laces out, Dan. Come on, man.
Exactly.
Jeez, bro.
So that's an update for everyone. And now, here's the thing. Now, before I get to the question, right? I do want to ask a side question. No, you know what? No, I'm gonna get to it because everybody's clamoring for it. We're just gonna throw this up there, and you, my friend, have to pick a choice between 1 and 5 and the steak and 1 and 6 for the bread.
And before you answer, just know that everybody in the chat will judge you based solely on this question.
Yes.
Oh man, I gotta go 3-4.
Okay, 3-4.
I gotta take it right down the middle. I got, I'm not normally a down the middle type of guy in my life, but 3-4 just looks delicious right now. I could go for some steak and toast.
No,
yes,
I can bang with 2. I can bang with 2. I can't bang with 1.
You can't do 4 either. And then at 5, you're basically chewing on a leather slipper.
At 5, give me the chicken. Yeah, please.
Yeah, forget about it.
Give me the chicken. Look at that. Mike V doesn't approve. I don't know. Has Mike V ever told us what he likes?
I think Mike B has
it.
mentioned
One
it.
time my ignorant ass ordered steak tartare and they brought it and I was like, what the shit? They didn't cook this shit. I didn't even eat it.
All right. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, no, that's it. And look, Dan
Oh, do I have
Brams.
something else?
No. That's it. Listen, Dan Brams, it's been phenomenal. It's been a pleasure to have you on with us. We appreciate the time that you took. Everybody loved you in the chat. And I want you to take some time to plug some of your stuff in. Let these guys know where they can find you. There was a couple people that were wondering where they can find your stuff.
So you can see on the screen there, at Danny Brams is my personal handle. I mostly, anything I tweet on there, I end up deleting because I don't know. I don't know. I just delete any tweet that goes on my personal. I delete a few days later. But
I feel like that's reason enough to follow him.
Yeah, exactly. I also run at For the Crown Baby. That's the account that we're more active on. Me and John, my co-host of the show, we created the Charlotte Soccer Show a year and a half ago, like right when the club launched. Probably a couple months before the first game was when we started the show, and we talked about the club and our expectations and everything. And at the end of the episode, I just kind of off the cuff said "For the Crown, baby," because our hashtag is For the Crown or whatever, and I like to say "baby" at the end of things. And that just kind of became our like rallying cry or whatever. So now I say it at the end of every episode, and that's the name of our handle, For the Crown Baby. So you check us out there. We like to make a lot of jokes and talk a lot of shit. Of course, it's great. And then you can listen to the Charlotte Soccer Show. We have a YouTube also. You can catch us on YouTube, Charlotte Soccer Show. You can follow us on any podcast platform, Charlotte Soccer Show. We'll post all our links, obviously, on that For the Crown Baby, so you'll find us there. And that's about it. I had something I want to say.
When we meet you in person, are you gonna have this holy holographic?
No. Well, maybe you never know. I might have to pay someone to follow me around, Beyonce style. To blow.
I'm gonna be very disappointed if I don't see this.
But I'll tell you what,
thing around
if you guys and anyone, please come to the October 20th match, the last game of the year, decision day, in Charlotte, Miami at Charlotte. I'll show you all a good time. Please come pre-party with us. We have a pre-game spot that's like a few blocks down from the stadium. Then we walk in and it's great. You guys should definitely come and visit, and I would love to hang with you in person for sure. I won't have quite the angelic glow, but I can I've got a few things that can make the angelic glow appear. Let's just put it that way. Jorge is what I'm talking about. And then I would just say thanks to all the commenters and the chatters. Yeah, really appreciate you guys inviting me. I'm here I'll have fun always. It's all about jokes. Our Charlotte Soccer Show is like all about vibes. We record like at local bars and like always talk about like what we're drinking as we go and stuff like that. So and we celebrate Charlotte as a city also and stuff like that. So I'm just a happy-go-lucky guy that people asked about the Emmys. That's what I was going to say. So I do like to show off my Emmys. I'm not an egotistical son of a bitch, but I do have a couple sports Emmys that I've gotten from my career. I'm a sports TV producer in my day job.
Nice.
Work for ESPN and have had the blessed life to get paid to do really fun stuff a lot. But sometimes it's a grind as well. So, but yeah, I did win a couple sports Emmys as just team wins. It's not like I did some like crazy, amazing individual solo effort. Those are team wins for like shows that I worked on. So
yeah, but that's still awesome.
But yeah.
Well, we want to thank you again, like Chris said, for joining us. You are awesome, and we hope. I told Chris at the beginning of the season, there's 2 places I wanted to go for sure on the road. Well, 3 really. Orlando, but that's always a given. Atlanta and Charlotte, because I just love Charlotte. So hopefully we make it down there.
Yeah, hey,
Chris,
now you got someone to hang with when you get here. So yeah, for sure, come on down.
For sure.
I actually, Danny forgot this question because you're the one that typically asks this. We're talking about the cafecito. Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
I've never asked this question.
All right, so we'll get to it. On a vacation, if you had to make a choice to go on a cruise, or you go on a cruise, right? From a 1 to 5, 5 being best vacation choice, 1 being worst vacation choice, where do you rank cruising?
So I've never done it, so I can't say. I think it's very subjective about how you feel about the small rooms that I always hear about on cruises. Like if you can't handle that, then you can't handle the cruise. I will say that I would probably say, I hate to be Mr. Down the middle here, but like I have enough interest in going that I would rate it a 3. But there's so many other things that are 4s and 5s that I would probably never get to the cruise because I would do so many other different things on vacation that would rate higher for me. Yeah.
But you wouldn't put it at a 1.
Yeah, I would love to go to the ports. Like I would like sleep on the boat the entire time, hopefully. Maybe, and then like get up and like go like hang out in the port cities and stuff that we stayed at. That would be fun.
That's all it is, though. It's like you sleep, you eat, and then you just drink. Like this, literally all it is. And then you visit different cities around the world. Like I can't imagine how people don't love it. And yes, we are going to talk to him because we do have Charlotte after Friday 2 more times. Right. So hopefully he can come and join us 2 more times this season. And thank you. I wanted to give a thank you to George Torres for joining us. Really appreciate you. I know you interacted a lot in the chat with all of us, so we really appreciate that also. Any final thoughts, Chris?
No, man, that's a wrap. And this Friday is going to be phenomenal. It was a pleasure to hang out with the 2 Dans and everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for taking the time to just kick it with us. And no, we are not scouts. I just play FIFA and I follow the FIFA cards. That's it.
That's how we scout on this show. FIFA cards for sure.
That's how I scout. Yes, for sure.
All right. Thank you again, Danny, for joining us. And for those of you listening on audio, if you listened all hour and a half, we appreciate you. Go ahead and take a second to like, subscribe, and leave a comment or a review on the audio. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching all the way to the end. And if you are in the comment section, as always, thank you for participating. You, as always, are the best part of this show. We appreciate you interacting with us. And if you are looking for any Inter Miami or all you new Messi fans, any new Messi gear, please go ahead and visit us at batteredfans.com. We got all the new stuff. I got to update this because we got a bunch of new stuff out there also. So go to batteredfans.com and check that out. And until the next one, have a good one.